My name is Ashley, and my favorite type of flowers are orchids. They're unique, they're beautiful, and they bring a lot of joy to my life. There are more than 1,000 different species of orchids, but today I'm going to speak to you guys about Phalaenopsis and Dendrobium orchids. Primarily found in the jungle, many orchid species are actually endangered. Endersby says that people will commit crimes for them, even kill or die for orchids. Orchids have a bad reputation for being difficult to maintain. But Frauene says that orchids are not difficult to grow, they just have cultural requirements that have to be met, like all plants. In my household, water culture works best for me. Today, I'm going to inform you guys how to take care of your orchids properly by selecting the best potting medium, watering them diligently, and placing them in the correct amount of sunlight. I remember the first orchid that I bought. I brought it home, killed it, almost instantaneously. Then I realized I had some research to do, and I might even need to do some trial and error. Okay, so first let's talk about what to keep our orchids in, otherwise known as potting medium. So the first thing we're going to talk about is actually going to be bark. Here's a picture when you pass this around. We also have sphagnum moss, and then we have water culture. So the most important thing to know when trying to take care of your orchids is what type of medium to put them in. Most people choose bark as their medium, but in my opinion, bark is not the best because it dries your orchids out fairly quickly. You have to water them a lot more and pay closer attention because bark is kind of dirty. Bark is so dirty that it will infect your orchids sometimes, depending on where you get it from. If you look at this bark here, my hands are already dirty just from touching it. So if you're going to use bark, just make sure it's very, very clean and you're doing lots and lots of watering with it. Most orchids that come from the store come wrapped up tightly in sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss will suffocate your orchids and prevent them from having sufficient airflow. The roots will never have a chance to dry out. In my opinion, I don't think that this is a very good method to grow your orchids in, because prolonged periods of damp orchid roots will lead eventually to root rot. Raviv says that growing plants without soil has been achieved through water culture without the use of any solid substrates. In my household, I find that the best growing medium is nothing at all. Water and air. I usually bring my orchid home. I clean the roots off completely from anything that it used to be in. And then I put it in a nice jar like this one. After that, I get my water, and I put about 1/8 of the water, or of the roots, in water. And I leave it that way all week until Friday comes along. Once Friday hits, I go ahead that morning before work and I pour out all the water until Monday. On Monday morning, I start the process all over again. This is how I take care of my orchids. Now let's talk about the watering schedules and the drying out periods for your orchids. It's imperative that you know when your orchids need water. Really, you'd be surprised to find out that despite popular belief, orchids really love water, especially when they're flowering. If you look at my orchid, you can see that even though there's some water here, the rest is still getting tons of water because it's humid. This is mimicking the natural environment because orchids are from the rainforest where it's always damp and it's always humid. Pay attention to your orchid's roots because they're going to speak to you. Silver, pruned up orchid roots, they're begging to be watered. If they're green like these ones here, they actually are perfect. They're happy. They like that. Now, if they're dark brown and black and they're all soggy and mooey, you need to probably cut them off and go ahead and let your orchid roots dry out a little bit. Lastly, nothing on God's green earth can survive without the sun. Tulloch says that any tropical orchid enthusiast who has ever allowed a prized plant to get a sunburn understands another critical factor for hardy orchid cultivation, providing the correct amount of sun exposure. Take a look at this video where I show you where I keep my orchids.
My favorite place that I keep my orchids is near my sink in my kitchen. I have a very large window here that provides ample amount of scattered bright light.
As you can see, it's imperative to have lots of light for your orchid, but nothing that's direct. A bright room that has a lot of scattered light from windowsills will be ideal. If direct sunlight is completely unavoidable, Tulip says that if plants receive any direct sun, morning sun is best, while afternoon sun is less preferable. Direct sun will burn your orchid just like you'd get burnt if you were out in the sun too long. Not only do roots tell a story, but so do the leaves. Actually, if the orchid leaves are really wilted in a dark green color, it's begging for sunlight. If they're nice and purple like this one in a lighter color, then they are okay and they're happy where they're sitting. In conclusion, now that you've seen my secret to maintaining a healthy orchid, you can grow your own too. Though orchids have been given a bad rap, they're actually quite easy to care for once you get a hang of it. Properly care of your orchid by selecting a medium that's right for you, giving the appropriate amount of sunlight and the perfect amount of water. Keep your orchid happy and beautiful by showing it off its good looks in something nice like this vase here. Partially submerged in water or in bark, it doesn't matter. Up to you. Make sure to follow a strict watering schedule but allow for lots of drying time between waterings. Double check that your orchid is in a window that allows plenty of sunlight that's indirect. Don't let rumors turn you guys off from such a special plant. Misinformation is everywhere, but I'm here to show you that just because it didn't work for somebody else doesn't mean it can't work for you. Get your orchids, bring them home, and give it trial by error. Eventually, you'll do a great job and you'll have your own orchids too. So go out there and get your orchid.